Everyone, welcome back to Raid Shadow Legends with Genghis. So yesterday I did a video on champions, upgrading them. Today I want to do one on gear, selection of your equipment. How do you do it? So this is Alice, love her. Aptoide App Store, guys. Use it for all the best discounts in town. Code SHADOW and get up to 30% off all in-game purchases. Plus, you get the new platform rewards also. I'll show you guys that right here really quickly. And then we'll get into the different gear combos, how you should be doing it. So limited time, new platform right there. Just got some gift. One more day left to get all of that. So play on Aptoide, man. Just get that free stuff. That's what it's all about. So right here, go into our tavern, champions. Let's look at Alice. Why don't you wear the same gear? Like, why don't you just wear 6 pieces? You could, but you're better off spreading it out for buffs, right? Most people are going to look at stuff when you're early game and you don't understand this stuff. And you're just going to say, what gives me the best HP buff or the best attack buff, defense? I want these green numbers high. Okay. But what you really want is the set piece buffs. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, what I'm looking at is, if you scroll in here, you look at this. This one has a 15% HP buff. This one has an attack buff. But you got to have combinations of the gears to make this work. You're going to need 2 pieces to get it. 15% HP. That sounds cool, right? But if you're not a tank, if you don't have a high HP, don't do it. You can get better gear. If you have a low defensive troop, you're not a tank, you're an attacker, well, then go with attacking gear. That's pretty simple, right? But people make these mistakes. Next one, 2 pieces for attack. Next one, 2 pieces for defense. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I don't recommend this gear because HP is so much higher than defense. So always go with the HP gear, okay? Always. It's higher. And for defense, you could just find better stuff. There's different intangibles out there where you don't need to go with defense. You can, like if you're stuck and you just don't have enough gear. But let's look at what else there is. So speed, 12%, okay? Crit rate, 12%. That's an important one if you're a high attack player. You really want to have high crit because crit multiplies off your base attack. And then, of course, you have to have the high crit rate, and there's going to be gear for that later on. And that will make your crit land more often. Right here, accuracy. Gonna be honest with you, not a fan of this. It's an RNG thing. Inaccuracy, accuracy in the battle, it's kind of just a luck thing. I don't like putting much stock into that. I don't like investing into RNG where, I don't really know if I'm getting lucky. I don't know if it's working or not. So I don't recommend that one. Heals by 30% of damage dealt. Now, it takes 4 pieces for this. So this is an expensive one. Very, very few characters you're going to want to have this with. You're going to have someone who does a lot of damage to make this worthwhile. Because it's going to take 4 pieces away. And you're not going to put it on a tank because tanks generally have low attack and high HP. So it just wouldn't work out well. 30% chance of freeze debuff on attacker. 30% chance to freeze them. And it takes 4 pieces. I don't like that. I'd rather have 2 pieces and something that's working all the time for me. Heals 15% every turn. I'd rather have that on my tank than defense or get heal from 30% of your attack. It costs 4 pieces, but hey, if your HP is high and you're getting 15% free all the time, that's not bad. 75% chance to place poison, 2.5. But it costs 4 pieces. 2.5, 5% over a couple turns. I don't really like it. I think it's a big commitment for 4. And then 15% chance of counterattack when you're hit. That's something I really like. I have this on because my character already has counterattack. So it adds to it. And then they're going to counterattack more often. And I sit there in the battle watching, hoping, praying. I get a counterattack all the time with Alice because she's very strong. So that's good gear for her. 40% chance to counterattack when receiving debuffs. But it takes 4 pieces. So, and you have to hope they debuff you. They might not debuff you. Some people just buff their own troops rather than debuff because they want to avoid this sort of counterattack. Stalwart. 30% damage taken from area of attack. Area of effect attacks. What is that? So that means if a player attacks player A, player B, C, and D take other damage sometimes, right? Depending on the attack. But in those type of attacks, they do. So the non-main recipient of the attack will take 30% less damage if they're wearing this. And then we got, this is a cool one. Only 2 pieces. And it's going to cost you, or get you, 15% attack, 15% HP, and a self-shield for 3 turns. When you're early game and you're playing, and that's who this video is more directed towards, most of your battles ain't lasting too many turns, so you got all that stuff for almost the full battle, if not all of it. So that's a really, really good one, and it only costs 2 pieces of gear. So I would really recommend that almost for any type of troop, especially early on in the game. Late game, your battles are lasting a lot longer than 3 turns. Crit rate, 12, 15% HP, and self-shield. 2 pieces. That's another one that's really good. Really good for almost any character. You could fit it in if you don't really have an idea of what you're doing right now. You really can't go wrong by putting that on your champion. So I'm going to change all mine around now. I have some on here that I'm not getting the full benefit of. I have a 4-piecer on. I only have 2 pieces on. I'm going to move that around and give that to another champion and try and work out what's best for me. Anyways, wanted to go over what all of these mean, give you some sort of insight into which characters should be using it, and let me know in the comments what you guys think, how you're using that gear, and like, subscribe, leave a comment.